This week for word work, we're going to work on reading fluency, which is reading out loud. You're going to need pages 5 and 6 in your blue word work packet. This is page 5, and page 6 has these two passages on it. What you're going to be doing is choosing a passage. You can choose passage 1 or passage 2, and then you're going to practice it and grade yourself on how you read. You can also have someone else assess how you read. So the first step is to read both passages in your head. Read passage 1 in your head and read passage 2, and then decide which one you want to practice, which one feels like the best fit for you. I want you to pick a good fit passage. So one that feels just right, not one that's too easy or too hard. Okay, so let's say you chose passage 2. Then you're going to practice reading it to yourself a few times, and you should practice reading it out loud, making sure you pause at the commas, pausing at periods, making sure it sounds like someone's asking a question or saying something serious if they are. I'll give you a hint. These are not very exciting passages, and I picked that on purpose because it's almost harder to read with expression in just like a regular story. This is what these are, just regular stories. And then when you're ready, you're going to read it out loud for the final time when you think you're ready, and you can choose. You can have someone in your family or at your house assess how you did, or you can assess yourself. It's kind of up to you and what you feel more comfortable with. And here's how you're going to be assessed in 4 categories. So after you've done your best reading, you'll grade yourself on these 4 categories. Think of these categories as not yet meeting, close to meeting, and exceeding. So think of 4 as exceeding, like it is perfect. But what you're really aiming for is 3s. That's meeting. You don't have to read it perfectly all the time. One category you're going to grade yourself on is expression and volume. So meeting would be reads with volume and expression. Sometimes the reader slips into expressionless reading and does not sound like they are talking to a friend. So that means you tried to show expression, but maybe didn't do it perfectly the whole time. If you're reading in a quiet voice and it sounds natural, but not always like you're talking to a friend, that would be a 2. If it sounds like you're not talking to a friend at all and it's really quiet that it's hard to get the words out, that's a 1. If you really read it like you're talking with a friend and it just came out naturally, that would be a 4. So after you grade yourself, you'll just circle how you did. So let's say I got a 3 in that category. Then you're going to look at the category of phrasing. And the gray area is what you're aiming for. Reads with a mixture of run-ons, mid-sentence pauses for breath, and some choppiness. There is reasonable stress and intonation. So that means you're really reading it one night. Julia sat in bed reading a story. So pausing at commas, in periods, and really putting the chunks together naturally. So Julia sat in bed reading a story would be read as one big phrase. If you're reading in 2 or 3 word phrases at a time, Julia sat in bed reading a story, that would be a 2. Word by word in a monotone voice would be a 1. And if you're reading like you're really hitting every single comma and period and it sounds very smooth, that would be a 4. So let's just say for an example that you scored a 2 in this category, and you would circle 2. Then you're also going to grade yourself in smoothness. Reads with occasional breaks in rhythm. The reader has difficulty with specific words and or sentence structures. So that means you are trying to really be in a rhythm as if you are talking, but maybe you don't read it perfectly. If it's a 2, that means you read with extended pauses or hesitation. So like maybe you took a while to decode a word. For example, it would be awesome to understand what animals are saying. So if you're taking big pauses, that wouldn't be very smooth. If you're having to sound out a lot of words or repeat a lot of words, that would be a 1. If you're really reading smoothly with some breaks, but you're correcting yourself, that would be exceeding with a 4. So just for this example, let's say I got a 3 in that category. Then your final category that you're going to grade yourself on is pace. Your goal in the gray category is to read fast and slow throughout the reading. So your pace kind of varies. It doesn't have to be perfect. Maybe you'll slow down for a tricky word and then you pick it back up. If you're moderately slow, that's a 2. If you're slow and laborious, that means you're working really hard to get the words out. That would be a 1. If you're at a conversational pace, the way that I'm talking in this video, that would be a 4. So let's just say, for example, that I got a 3. After you grade yourself, then you're going to add up your score. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then you can write your score on your paper. And then in Seesaw, you're going to go back and reflect. What was your score? Which category do you think you did the best on? Even if I got the same score in 3 categories, I could pick, well, I really think I was good at expression and volume. This is just your own reflection. And which category do you think you need to get better on? Maybe I need to get better on phrasing. Okay, that's how it works. Good luck.